Oh, speaking of Ariel Helwani, Anderson Silva has announced his retirement from MMA, and this was a very sad and emotional moment for Ariel Helwani. So Ariel was speaking with me and kind of passed the torch over to me to say my piece. And I didn't see it the way he did. I didn't see it as the sad moment. The day Anderson Silva retires, you would feel something. As a matter of fact, just the day that his tenure in the UFC came to conclusion, we all felt something. That was meaningful, and that was a loss, right? If you ever read a book, when you get to that last page, you feel something inside. It's like you've lost a friend, a book that you're taking everywhere with you and you're getting information from for a couple of weeks. You get to the end, it can be very sad. Video games can be the same way, quite frankly. You get immersed in a video game, when they fade to black and roll the credits, you will feel a loss. And I bring that emotion to you because it's one that I know you can relate to as it pertained to Anderson Silva, but I felt as though we had gone through that. So when Ariel passed it to me and I didn't have this big mushy alligator drops rolling down your face moment, Ariel said that he was surprised. Thought I would have a little more emotion because of my history and past with Anderson Silva. I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling the blues. It was something sad when the Daniel Cormiers of the world or the Anderson Silvas of the world leave our sport. But Anderson hasn't left fighting, and he hasn't left competition, and he hasn't left unarmed combat. So I didn't feel it the same way Ariel did. And Ariel goes, Chael, how can you say that? It's not our sport. He's not a boxer. He's an MMA guy. Look, I want to see it the way Ariel does. I want to make sure to pay respects in the proper direction. I'm fully focused on this fight coming up with Cesar Chavez as far as it pertains to being a viewer of Anderson Silva. And Anderson, this is very different, Anderson, because he used to box, and even if it was Muay Thai, even if it was stand-up fights, but he actually got in the ring and did this. It's a significant difference than, say, what Conor McGregor did when he fought Floyd. It's significantly different, and that Conor had never done it before. He'd done something close. He had done a version of it. He had sparred it a little bit. Anderson did all of that, but also stepped in there and competed. So it's a little bit of a refresher course. And I'm happy to hear he's done with MMA. I'm happy to hear that if he's going to elect to go in this sport, he's showing that sport the respect that it needs and that it requires to be successful, which is full commitment and immersion. So I didn't have a sad note. I didn't have a sad note at all that Anderson was done. I did feel it the night he fought Uriah Hall. I did feel that the last time Bruce Buffer announced his name. But I'm not feeling it as a whole. This is very real for me. This competition coming up in Mexico, and this thing is changing, guys. They were going to fight they're in a 100,000 seat stadium. All got pulled. They're going to fight in front of nobody. Okay, that's the way it goes. No, they opened it to 10,000. Well, the cases are getting better and better over there. They've now opened it to 14,000, of which all the tickets are gone. I have a feeling that's going to keep on opening. They're going to be closer to 40 or 50,000. I mean, this is going to be a remarkable evening for Anderson. He's going to have some really good memories there, and I think he's got a chance to win. And I'm the first to tell you, a guy that doesn't do it can't go beat a guy who has done it. The fact that Anderson used to do it, the fact that he currently coaches it with his own sons, and the fact that he's walked away from MMA, not temporarily, permanently, to pursue this. I like those signs. Now, does that make a 42-year-old Anderson Silva equal to a second-generation guy in Chavez Jr.? It's a stretch, all right? Chavez Jr., think of it in this perspective. Chavez Jr. was born into his coach's arms. You ever think of it like that? His father, the great Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., is his coach. So when you talk about this guy's been doing it his whole life, this is very, very literal. Very, very little for the Floyd Mayweathers, or in this case, the Chavez Jr.'s. These second and third generation guys, it's real. Talk about it's in the blood, it's really in the blood. And Chavez Jr. is having some seeming public problems dealing with the shadow and perception of him as it relates to his father. And I don't think that's fair to him. Sure, a lot was thought of him. Sure, that's a very strong name. He doesn't have to go do what his dad did. He's out there doing the best that he do what his dad did. Nobody else, not only is he not going to do what his dad did, nobody else is going to do what his old man did. What kind of pressure is that to put on yourself? And it seems to really be bothering him. It seems to ail him. I mean, it's taken him down different paths. Through drug use, through substance abuse, through not getting to the gym, through not being focused, which not for nothing is all very good for Anderson Silva, because one thing you can't say about Anderson Silva is any of that. I mean, Anderson gets pretty focused. He locks in the gym. He sees something. He's a major strategist. I worry it's just an age thing, right? Just pure speed. Where's your speed at this point? where's your range? I mean, it's one of these things that takes a life of experience to know, but Anderson did show a rare ability to know speed, to know range, to have a fantastic chin. I just watched him. I mean, this was recent 2 years ago, but I watched him go 15 minutes in the stand-up with Adesanya, and he won one of those rounds, all stand-up. Anderson never got dropped. He never went down. He wobbled one time. He fired right back. I mean, the guy's got a hell of a chin. I think it's an interesting match. I really do. I think it's going to be a long, drawn-out night. I'm not ready to give you my prediction yet. And if I did, you just bet the other way. Anyhow, but I will tell you, as far as looking at some of the X's and O's and at least thinking this is going to be compelling, this is going to be long, this is going to be drawn out, we're going to get some real minutes here, I feel very confident telling you guys that. So I can't share Ariel's opinion. I don't have a tear in my eye that Anderson left MMA. I already went through that emotion. I think with you guys, I think we all did that together, but that was the night Anderson fought Uriah Hall and said, look, this is the last time you're going to see me in here. This isn't a surprise that Anderson was going to go over to boxing. Anderson's been talking about boxing, specifically Roy Jones Jr., but that goes back about 13 years. This is, and you could, a bucket list? Maybe. Maybe it's just something that he wanted to do. Okay, either way, cool. Because now you get to do it. How many people get to do that? We all have a dream in life. How many of us, one, have the courage to actually see it through, but two, are given the opportunity? It's not all just about courage. It's not all about just taking that first step. You need somebody else to help you. You need somebody else to tell you the word yes. Anderson got a yes. And he got a hell of a dance partner. And I think the match is interesting. I'm not ready to be done with the Spider Days just yet. He told us this is what he wants to do. He told us he's fully immersed. He told us that he's focused in it. He told us that he prefers to not train MMA because MMA hurts your body and then stops you from training, which subsequently to that statement, whether he used these words or not, means it's pretty smooth in boxing. A lot of mitt days, a lot of bag days, a lot of road in the morning, a lot of jump rope in the evening, couple of spar sessions a week in their appropriate pads, I hope. And it is something that you wouldn't get hurt as much. It is something with the right partners and the right coaches that you could do day in and day out. I think it's a compelling match. I'm not ready to say goodbye to Anderson just yet. I don't think he's going to get a whole lots of shots down here. I think at this age and at this respective part of his life, he's likely to get one unless it goes well. And I think with Cesar Chavez, and I think with the lack of focus that Chavez has, it increases the chances for Anderson that it does go well.